Hey everyone, my name is Paul Vojchehoske and welcome to the Real Estate Classroom YouTube channel, where our mission is simple: to help you pass your real estate exam the first time. Best way to do that is to know and understand your key real estate vocabulary words. So let's get started. So in today's real estate exam prep video, we're going to continue our series on key vocabulary words you have to know for your real estate exam. We're going to do 111 through 115 of 300, and they all evolve around fair housing. Federal law you got to know. So number 111, the Fair Housing Act. Now, the Fair Housing Act is a series of laws that Congress has passed on the federal level that protects people from discrimination when they are engaging in a real estate transaction. That includes renting, buying, getting a mortgage, maybe getting insurance or other type of housing assistance. It is a set of laws that protects someone from being discriminated solely because they are a member of a protected class. Now, every one of us in the United States of America is in some capacity a member of a protected class. Now, on your screen, I put the 7 federally recognized protected classes. They are race, color, national origin, religion, sex, family status, or familial status, sometimes it's referred to, and handicap, or commonly referred to as disabilities. So what does that mean? That means one of us is a member in some capacity of a protected class. So for example, maybe you're Catholic. That means you're protected under the protected class of religion. Maybe you're African American. That means you're protected under race. Maybe you use a wheelchair, or you're visually impaired. That means you're a member of the disabilities protected class. So under these fair housing laws, it means that someone cannot discriminate against you in a housing transaction solely based on that. Prime example, maybe I'm Baptist and I hate Catholics, and you're Catholic, and you want to rent my single family home or my apartment that I have available, and I refuse to rent to you because solely on the basis that you are Catholic. You have great credit, you have good income, etc. Financially, you're totally qualified for renting this property, but because you're Catholic and I hate Catholics, I'm not going to rent to you. That would be an example of discrimination based on being a member of a protected class. And I've actually did a 3-part series on fair housing from beginning to end, and I'm going to put a link to the first video right here in your upper right-hand corner. After this video, you may want to take a look at that. All right, so what are those individual specific federal laws that you have to know, because they may ask you on a real estate exam? Well, there are 3. And those 3 laws created all 7 protected classes. The first one is the Civil Rights Act of 1866. That created the first protected class, and that created the protected class of race. So you could not discriminate based on someone's race. The Fair Housing Act of 1968 added color, national origin, and religion. And then in 1974, they added sex. That is someone's gender, male, female, and they've actually included gender identity as well as a subcategory of sex. And then Fair Housing Amendments of 1988, so basically these were amendments added to the 1968 law, added family status and disabilities or handicap. You have to know those dates. I guarantee you that many potential or prospective questions on your licensing exam want you to match a specific protected class with a specific date. One of the ones I hear all the time students get is, when was race, in what year was race included as a protected class? That's a common one. So one other thing to remember about fair housing in its totality is we just discussed the federal level, but states and local governments can add on to those protected classes, and it's very common. So for example, in Washington, D.C., for example, your political affiliation is a protected class. So if someone is a Democrat, a Republican, a Libertarian, the landlord can't discriminate against them, or the homeowner can't discriminate against them. So there are dozens of different protected classes across the United States when you add in state and local protected classes. The next one I want to talk about, a key real estate term coming out of fair housing that you have to know, is called redlining. And redlining is a discriminatory practice where typically financial services are denied to a resident of a certain area or because they want to live in a certain area based on race or ethnicity. So this was very common in our history. So if you would walk into a bank, for example, and on the loan officer's wall, maybe you had a map of the city that you live in, and you want to get a loan. So you go into the loan officer, and on the wall there was a red box. So it was a map of that city, and they would actually just take a red marker and outline the boundaries and everything within those boundaries. They would not provide financial services, a home loan or banking or something, or insurance, anything like that. And typically what they found is they would redline the areas of a particular geographical city or location that was predominantly members of a protected class, such as African American or Latino. And so essentially what they were saying is, we will give you a home loan in these rich Caucasian areas, but not African American areas. It was called redlining. And again, physically, the bankers would go in and put a red line around the areas within a city that they would not provide home loans to. So that is a discriminatory practice called redlining. I guarantee you have to know that for your real estate exam. The next key real estate exam word you have to know for fair housing is called steering. Steering is a practice where an agent, a licensed agent, or a landlord, or a property manager is influencing someone, one of their clients, whether it's a buyer or whether it's a tenant, etc. And they are influencing that renter's or that buyer's choices of communities that they want to live in based on a protected class. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. But first, back up here. Typically what I find with steering in the real estate sales side is a lot of times there's no intention to discriminate. And in fact, maybe the real estate agent's intentions were quite noble, but nonetheless, they still violated fair housing laws and committed what's called steering. So let me give you an example. I'm here in Omaha, and statistically, according to the census data, the vast majority of African Americans live north of Dodge Street and east of 120th. So if you were to take Omaha and break it into 4 sections, right up here in the northeast corner or section of Omaha, predominantly the population is African American. That is statistically accurate. So let's say I have a client that comes in, and they're an African American couple, and they qualify for a FHA loan up to $200,000, etc. And then I just assume, because this couple is African American, that they want to live in the African American part of Omaha, that north of Dodge, east of 120th Street. I just assume that, so I only give them homes available that fit their financing criteria in that specific geographical location. I have influenced them in their choices of housing. So what I should do is, here is every home that, remember, they're qualified or pre-approved for $200,000 and FHA. So I'm going to provide them with every home in the multiple listing service where the price is under 200 or below, and the seller is willing to look at FHA type financing. The next 2 I want to talk about is panic peddling and block busting. I know there's a lot of people out there that, in fact, a lot of instructors and a lot of textbooks that think these 2 things mean the same, and they are not. They are distinctly different. So panic peddling is an illegal practice in real estate where a real estate professional or real estate agent will lead people to believe that other individuals who are members of protected classes are going to start buying into the community in which that property is located in. All right. And they infer or they encourage the homeowner to sell now because Otherwise, you're going to suffer some type of financial consequence, such as maybe the home values are going to go down. So let me give you an example. So maybe I'm a real estate agent and I knock on your door, and you live in a community that's predominantly white middle class. And I go to you and say, hey, listen, have you heard the latest? By the way, my name is Paul. I work for 12th Street Realty, and I'm just kind of fanning the neighborhood. I do a lot of business in this part of the community. And well, there is low-income housing coming in. There's several low-income housing units that are going to be in your neighborhood specifically. And unfortunately, most of the low-income housing residents are African American or Latino or Native American or whatever protected class you want to choose. And that's going to reduce your home values. So right now, your home values are really good around here. They're solid. But once those low-income housing units come in, it's over. So, you probably should think about selling now before they come in and get ahead of the game before everybody else. They get wind of this and then they decide to move so we can get you your maximum value. That is panic peddling. So what is blockbusting then? Well, blockbusting is where agents use panic peddling, which I just described, but they use it specifically for their own financial gain. So if an agent, in the scenario that I just gave you, if the agent told the landowner that, hey, these low-income units are moving in and you're going to suffer damage, so sell now. And then as an agent, the agent walks away and doesn't pursue it any further. That's panic peddling. But where it becomes blockbusting is where they use panic peddling and then say, but you know what, I can help you. Why don't we get your house listed and get you out from under this and get you into a new community before the values, they fall. Blockbusting is panic peddling where I, as the real estate professional, am going to financially gain by using panic peddling. Again, I could be a real estate agent, go up to that homeowner and commit panic peddling, but as long as I don't go one step further and try to solicit the listing or try to buy the property at a reduced value, I am guilty of just panic peddling. But once I introduce panic peddling and then say, hey, I can help you, let's get your home listed. Or by the way, screw that. How about I just buy your home right now? Because of these low-income housing units coming in, right now I can estimate that the property values have lost 15%. So I'll buy your home at a 15% discount off the market value to get you out of this. When I know the value hasn't gone down, and then I turn around and rent it, or I turn around and sell it for a profit. Whether it's a commission or buying it myself, I am going to gain financially and personally. That is blockbusting, using panic peddling to have a financial benefit. That is called blockbusting. If you're going to continue studying, check out this video right here. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Click the little circle to my left. Comments and questions down below. Thanks a lot, guys. See you in the next video.